Willowbrook, what's up? Today we are in Romans chapter 8, verses 28 through 39. Now, there's a lot in this passage, so today I'm just going to really focus on three things, but we're going to start at the end of the passage and then move back to the beginning. The first thing that I really want to highlight is that God is with us. If you look near the end of the passage, verse 35, it says, "Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall trouble or hardship or persecution or famine or nakedness or danger or sword? As it is written, for your sake we face death all day long. We are considered as sheep to be slaughtered." Now this is a reference to Psalm 44. So what Paul is saying here is that trial, tribulation, suffering is something that's not uncommon. Even the psalmist wrote about it hundreds of years before. So what he's saying is suffering isn't a sign of the absence of God. Suffering is a sign of the world that we live in right now, the world that's a sinful world. So he's saying that through all things, even in our sufferings, that God is still with us. So that's the first thing. But not only is God with us, but God is for us. So if you look at verse 31, it says, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" Now he's not asking a question. He's not saying, is God for us? No, he's saying, God is for us, and therefore, who can be against us? And what I love is that he gives us some evidence that we can hold on to, something tangible that shows that God is for us. In the next verse, verse 32, it says, "He who did not spare his own son, but gave him up for us all, how will he not also, along with him, graciously give us all things?" So Paul is saying here that this isn't a cynical God waiting for us to make a mistake. Now, this is a God that's for us, a God that gave his own son willingly so that we might become sons and daughters of God. And then the third thing is that God is working all things together for our good. Look at verse 28. It says, "We know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." And one thing that I think stands out in this verse for me is oftentimes we use this verse to think about just the hard times, right? It's comforting to know that even in bad situations, God is even working those things together for good. But if you look at what that word all means, that in all things, God's working all things together for good, it means just that, all things. So the miraculous and the mundane, the good times, the bad times, when you're on your way to work, if you have just a normal day at home, or if you have a difficult time or season that you're in, God is taking all those things and working them together for good. And what is that good, though? I think that's another question we may have as we read through this. And I think we get an idea of what that looks like in the next verse, 29. It says to be conformed to the image of God's Son, Jesus. I think ultimately that's what God wants to do in our lives, is make us more like his son, Jesus. So today, I want you to be encouraged at the truth that we can find in this passage today, that God is with us, God is for us, and God is working all things together for our good and for his glory.